How's it going, guys? Do you want to see how these super realistic, easy, and cheap natural trees are made? Well, that's coming up right now, right here, all new on Creative Rails. How's it going, guys, and welcome back to Creative Rails, where we think outside of the boxcar. So let's get right into it. How are these made? So about a year ago, I uploaded a video about finding natural materials out in Mother Nature. So what I was really talking about was sedum, little twigs, rocks, and goldenrod. And how this happened was I was going out actually looking for goldenrod to make some trees, which I'm going to show you in a very soon video as well. But as I was looking for goldenrod, I saw this plant here. Now, to be honest, I've had my eye on this for a while, thinking it could make a nice coniferous tree, but I wasn't really sure. So I got up close to them and started cutting them off. And here's what it looks like right here. And so I started experimenting and I decided it actually makes a pretty decent deciduous tree. So first, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about this plant and what's going on here, because there's a couple things to know. This plant is called Phragmine, or I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'll put the spelling below. What this is, it's actually an extremely invasive species to the area of North America, particularly to the Great Lakes region. So what makes it really bad for the environment, or for our environment, actually makes it really good for modeling. It's really rugged, it's really sturdy, it holds up really well. And it grows in abundance. So this is really bad for our local ecosystem, but for us it works out pretty good for modeling. So the only thing I'm going to advise you, when you do collect this, be very careful not to spread the seeds. So bring a bag with you, just go on out and cut the tops, and I just grab them like this to give me a little stick for while I'm painting them and preparing them. So yeah, like I said, be careful not to spread the seeds. Another thing to know, once you see this and you think they're really cool, I wouldn't try selling them, because it's highly illegal to sell this stuff and it's highly illegal to replant it. But we're not replanting it, this is pretty well dead now, right? But just try not to spread the seeds. So anyways, get out into Mother Nature and find some of this. I've got bundles of it and I've been experimenting with it, and this is what I'm doing with it now. So I'm going to show you how I'm making my deciduous trees. So what I'm doing is fall colors, because I'm modeling early September, mid-September into October. So I'm going to show you a couple of different styles, and I'm going to do them right here, right now. So first thing I'm going to show you, I literally take this and go like this. And the cool thing about this stuff is, like I said, it's really resilient. As you can see, barely any fuzzies are coming off. You'll find goldenrod when I show you that later. Goldenrod, you definitely can't do this. It totally comes off. And I'm just going for kind of a rough tree shape. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull off these bottom guys here. Okay, and I'm gonna just set them aside. Now, those ones that I just set aside, make sure you keep those because they make nice little trees as well. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take, now you could totally put it on this way, but it is kind of big for HO. It would still work, but I'm just gonna cut it down. So all I do, I just kind of take the top, just pinch it down a little bit like this, and then I just cut this off with some scissors. Now, again, this piece that I just cut off, perfect end scale tree, but perfect little bush for HO. This stuff works for really a lot of scales. Normally I do a lot of HO and end scale size stuff, but it's really convincing, I think, for a lot of the scales. So this is what we're left with here. Next thing I'm gonna do, just anything that's sticking out a little bit. So I don't really like this guy here sticking out. I'm gonna cut that off. And that's pretty well it, folks. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go over and spray this, and I'm gonna show you the next steps. So let's go. Okay guys, so first thing I'm going to do, first color, I'm gonna do an orange. Now I've got, since I'm doing fall, I've got several colors. I've got some browns, I've got green, orange, red, just make sure you're using flat. This is the one I'm using right here. It's a flat orange. So the trick here is I pretty well have the spray can at the camera, and I have the tree about I'd say about 18 inches away from me, like an arm's length. Normally I'm going even further back, but we're just gonna do some mist. So I'm gonna do some orange, and I'm getting the bottom. Just like that. And something else I like to do is kind of leave some of that other color underneath, like the original kind of tanny beige color. And now, for next step, I'm gonna throw in a little shot of red, just to add some variation. So just some little shots here and there. There. That'll do it. Okay, next thing. Now you can do whatever color you want. Now I'm using a lot of these for background trees, so I'm not really too crazy about how precise I am, but I'm just giving a little shot of gray on the trunk here. You see that? Now if you're gonna have these up in the foreground, which you totally could, you might want to hand brush that and maybe do a little bit on the inside too, but just so you can see the gray there. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place this into some styrofoam and let it dry, and then we'll plant it. Okay, so I just showed you that nice orange one. Now let's do another one. And probably a lot of you are thinking right now, hey, Benny, why don't you, add some ground foam or some leaves or something, right? So with me, great idea, totally do that. Like I said on my other videos, totally experiment with different textures. That's exactly what I'm doing. But for me, a lot of my super trees, I use the knock leaves, and for a lot of my other style trees I use ground foam and stuff, so I'm kind of avoiding the ground foam on these just to give a variation of texture. But I'm going to show you right now exactly how it looks with ground foam. It's still very convincing. So same thing, we're going to take this. Now sometimes they have a loose piece on the stem like that, so I just pull that off like that, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to just kind of grab some from the bottom here, and I'm just going to tear these off. And remember, put these aside, and same thing, we're gonna spray paint those and use those for smaller bushes. And same thing that we did on the last one, on the colorful one, we're gonna go like this. Now for this one, I'm gonna do a green tree for you guys. I figured that would be a nice variation, and a lot of people, like to model summertime and spring, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm just gonna cut this right here. And like I said, keep that top piece for later. And there we go, we're left with just kind of something round like this. And I'm just gonna keep pulling it down, spreading these out. There, I'm happy with that. And something to remember, you kind of want to keep them kind of not too symmetrical, you know what I mean? Like you kind of want a couple wild guys sticking out here and there. So let's go with this guy and let's do this guy. Let's make him green and do a little ground foam on him. Okay, we'll be back. Okay guys, so here's our other one that I just showed you. Now I'm gonna make this one green, so I'm just using again some flat green. Always remember to use flat, not gloss or semi-gloss, always flat. And this one, same thing, we're just gonna do a bit of misting with some green. Like I said, I find it a little more interesting just to leave some of that original brownish tan color underneath. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna show you, but I'm gonna go and give this a quick shot of cheap hairspray. I'm gonna sprinkle some ground foam on it, and I'll bring it back for you to see. I think this time I'm gonna try some light, no, you know what? I'll just do some dark, fine ground foam, Woodland Scenics, okay? So I'll do that and I'll show you what it looks like when I come back. Okay, so there you go, guys. There's a little bit of ground foam sprinkled on it. Now remember, go very light. I was going a little heavier before, so those of course are gonna become some background trees, but there you go. Just gives a little bit of texture in there. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take some cheap hairspray to seal that in. Remember to do this in a ventilated area. I've got the window open, so we're okay. So there you go. There's that. And then, like I said before, quick shot of gray. On the bottom to show the trunk. And there you have it. All right, so I'm gonna put that in the styrofoam as well, let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll be planting it. Okay guys, so here we are over the layout. Now here it is. It's had a chance to dry for a few minutes. We're gonna do the green one first because I've got a red and orange tree here, so I want some variation. So first thing I'm gonna do is just cut this trunk off. Like that with some scissors. And then what I gotta do is poke a hole in my scenery. So this is kind of tough to do because it's really hard plaster. But I got it in there. Now normally I'd be gluing this, but this scenery isn't done right now because I'm just doing this for testing. We're gonna stick it in there for now. And there you go. There's the green one that we made. It literally took about a minute. And now let's do our other one, our other orange one. Okay, now so since I had one very similar to that color over there, I'm gonna put this orange one right in here. So again, I'm just gonna do this, poke a hole in the scenery. This stuff's really tough. This is a homemade Sculpta mold I make, and I'll show you that later on. So normally if the scenery was done, I would do the same thing, but I would be gluing these in. So we got that. And I'm gonna just kind of spread these guys. Stick them on in there. Perfect. Get them the way I want them. And there you have it. He's in there, ready to go. Okay guys, so that's it. Now for me, I've got a plaster, kind of a Sculpta mold over foam scenery. So what I do, I just poke a hole through and put them in. Now I'm not gluing them right now because I'm just putting them in temporarily just to see how this turns out. But something I want to show you now is what happens when we start adding some different variations. So let's add some pine trees, and also let's add some sticks, and let's add some different kinds of trees. How about some super trees like the ones we've made before? I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. And all of a sudden you can see with these different textures, different colors, different tones, different sizes, man, what an effect you get. It really brings the eye in, just like a really good painting. Remember, on this channel, we're talking about the art of model railroading. So guys, I hope you liked this. If you did, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. Remember to hit that bell notification icon for future uploads. So guys, with that, we'll see you on the next one. Remember, happy model railroading and stay creative, my friends. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.